So not knowing how and where to invest cost us everything. As a young person, I had to take care of mum, find myself in the same position. And I was like, I cannot let any other family go through this ever again. We have 3 big VCs. We have a few smaller ones, but we have 3 big VCs. That's not how VC works.
That should be the tagline for Australian venture firms. Fuck off.
Australia has never had a lack of capital. What we have had is a lack of risk-tolerant capital. And the capital that does go there goes in bubbles.
You've started your own businesses. You've worked for KPMG High Growth Ventures. You've raised $500 million. You know, you've done some incredible things. And now you're not just educating people who are uneducated about how to protect their wealth based off a personal scenario, but you're also impacting the entire world by doing it. You know, when you describe it like that, that's an insane story. Arjun, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much. Really excited to be here.
I am excited to be here because you have done so many different things in so many different startup capacities. And, you know, having a show that's in the startup space and then having someone who's in every kind of possible point of the ecosystem.
Fingers in every part.
Absolutely. It's good. So we've got lots to talk about. But as we were just about to talk about, we decided to talk about it now on the show. We met you when you came on Balance the Grind.
Correct.
How long ago?
Early days. I think 2022, 2021.
2022.
I'm not sure when abouts it was, but it was a while ago.
I'm wondering whether that was before or after Balance the Grind came into the Nudge family, because Balance the Grind was going for a fair few years before it came in. But I think it was. I think it was after.
Was it?
Yeah,
may have been.
because Balance the Grind and Nudge have been together a long time now.
Yeah,
and still going. It's still going strong.
I mean, when I saw Balance the Grind and I saw the amazing humans on it, I was like, wow, it's great to be asked to be part of something, to be shared there. And subsequently, I saw a few of my friends who I'd been advising, supporting, mentoring get on it. So I was like, this is like a full circle moment to have people that you've been working with go and, you know, achieve those upper echelons of success and be featured on it too. And look where we are today.
Now you're on the Give It a Nudge show. Goodness me. I don't know what's better. I mean, Balance the Grind is an incredible publication. I think we've got about, I always exaggerate this, but I think I used to say 7,000, but I think it's about 2,000 articles on there of people, a whole bunch of celebrities, daily routines and other things. And we've tried lots of different things with it. But it's been a roaring success in its own right, Balance the Grind, or BTG as we call it. So that's where you first entered the group.
Indeed.
Since then, you've been intertwined with just about every single ecosystem thing I can think of, whether it is the TEDx that we spoke about. You've also been you've done the Blackbird Giants thing, right?
Correct.
You've done, just trying to remember my briefing doc on you now because there were so many things. You've literally been involved in so many things.
It's a long list. I can appreciate that. I think when I got into the startup ecosystem, it was very important to actually fully immerse myself in it to really understand every side and every element of it. They always say, you know, if you're going to go into something, you need to be obsessed about it. You need to understand it. And when it comes to startups, there is so much. You know, there's actually building something, there's investing in something, there's scaling something, there's the technology involved. And my own personal background itself is pretty eclectic too. I've had the most nonlinear career. I'm the bad brown child of my family.
The bad brown child.
Well, I'm not a doctor.
Can you say that?
Well, I mean, I'm brown, so I think I can.
I could have worn brown. This is kind of brown. I was wearing brown yesterday. I should have worn brown.
Well, I mean, I'm not a doctor.
No.
I'm not a lawyer.
No.
I'm not an engineer. And
which means that you're safe from AI to some degree because they're all in trouble.
I mean, yes and no. Yes, correct. Which means I have, you know, critical thinking, creative skills, etc. Which I think Jimmy Carr did a skit recently. If someone asked him, "Are you afraid of AI?" He's like, "Well, no. It learns from my jokes. It doesn't know how I come up with them." And so
I do like him. I have to say, he's pretty extreme.
Yeah, but I mean, if it comes to every founder building something, right?
Yeah.
Large language models can learn from what already exists. They cannot truly create that sense of innovation that a founder's mind or a creator's mind will come up with. And so I think having critical thinking, the ability to talk to people, the ability to network with people and build relationships, the soft skills, if you will, become far more critical in the age that we're going to. And so I kind of clocked in on that a while ago because I was like, tech's obviously going to keep going. We've seen the Bronze Age, we've seen all the industrial ages, the tech age, everything come from there. We're now in the AI age, and that's not going to stop.
No.
The only thing that stays consistent is the fact that it is run by, created by, and used by humans. And so
for now,
you've got to just make sure that you're building, talking to, and having relationships with these humans and building for these humans. We live on planet Earth, and the only way we keep living on it and keep living on it well is by supporting each other, helping it. I firmly believe we exist to help each other. And if that's not why we exist, then what the hell is the purpose of existing? So
that's a great mantra, if you like. Yeah. So your first foray, was it High Growth Ventures? Was that your first foray into startups?
In Australia, I think my first foray was actually when I arrived to do my master's in entrepreneurship. So that was 2020.
What do they cover in that? I've always wondered.
I know it sounds like, you can't really teach entrepreneurship.
Well, I mean, there's things you can teach. So that's what I'm intrigued to know.
And so I'd come from, like I mentioned, this eclectic background of doing so many things, professional careers, and I came from a business family. But we have in Hindi a word called jugaad, which means resourcefulness. And resourcefulness only gets you so far. In life, you do need to add frameworks to said resourcefulness to actually execute and implement on it. And so I didn't want to do an MBA or a master's in finance. I have a double major in economics and finance in my bachelor's. But I was like, I need to do something innovative, something that solves problems, that actually addresses people's needs through building needs-based solutions. And entrepreneurship ticked the bill. It fit the bill. However, I applied the world over, was rejected the world over.
Really?
Yeah.
Why? If you've got a double degree.
Yeah. So my story, my actual story, which I've shared, but I'll share with you as well, is I did so many things, but the world is geared for a very specific kind of person in academia, in professional careers. And I wasn't that person.
I don't think I'm that person either.
And it's okay. And it's great. But yeah, I was rejected by every uni on the planet. I was rejected by the University of Melbourne as well, and the Wade Institute. I wrote an appeal out to the dean. And the reason why my GPA had taken a bit of a hit was in my final year of undergrad, I actually lost my father. And so I had to pull out my socks, stop doing the crazy things I was doing, take care of mum, got a job, etc.
Yep.
And so I wrote an appeal. I was like, look, my father passed. Give me a shot. I'll give you everything I have. Just give me a shot. And I was very grateful after a position to come study. So that's when I made my foray into entrepreneurship, if you will, in Australia. But I arrived in February 2020. So I had 3 weeks on campus.
You arrived just after me, literally just after. Oh, no. What am I talking about? I arrived in 1999. It's like 20 years difference. Sorry, you arrived just before COVID, basically. You arrived.
That.
Oh, let's not get into age. So you arrived just before COVID.
Yeah, so we got 3 weeks before lockdown.
And you're in Melbourne, worst state in the Pacific.
It was the world's first lockdown city. And I'm like, what do you do? I couldn't go back home. You had to stick it through. And I was like, you do what you got to do. You push through and you do what you need to.
Yep.
Launched a podcast myself. Yes. What do you do in COVID?
Which is relaunching again soon.
Yes, to support young people on the path to entrepreneurship. Won the Hack the Crisis Australia Hackathon with a solution that ServiceNow actually ended up implementing.
Is that right?
And set up an arm, which is my life's work, as the final deliverable of my master's project. Now, having immersed myself, even in just those 3 weeks, I went to every single pitch night I could stick myself at just to meet people.
There's a lot.
There were so many. And Victoria was the hub in 2020 of startups.
That was when it was called
Startup Victoria.
Startup Victoria. I used to come down and we partnered with them at the beginning.
And we actually, Inam won the Startup Vic Fintech pitch night, both People's Choice and Judges, when we eventually went to market and started pitching way back when. And the CEO at the time told me, he's like, it's always interesting to keep an eye on those that win both because they go and do something. And I'm like, 5 years down the track, I'm like,
that's a good little boost of like energy to you.
Yeah. And I was like, well, it took a bit longer.
Yeah.
Like, we went through every kind of trial and tribulation, but we're here. And so very interesting phase, but I exposed myself to as much as I could in the ecosystem at the time. That sort of led me to my first gig, if you will, as an intern in working on special projects with Straight Bat Private Equity.
Yep.
Where I helped them with their special projects, building systems that they've gone on to iterate and build, which is the Harris family's private equity fund. Worked with amazing people there, learned amazing things. I then went on to help set up a blockchain ESVCLP.
Back in the heady days of blockchain.
In 2021, early 2021. The team that built it actually helped build the Web3 wallet. They used to work with Vitalik Buterin, and they'd done amazing things. And I just got to bring my investment banking kind of career lens to what they were doing. And then was raising capital for private businesses. So Healthcare Education Group, which now has been acquired by the Ramsey Health Group. And I was in strategy with the NDIA. You will know it as the NDIS, helping secure capital from Prime Minister's office to keep the scheme operational. In every string of those in Australia, at least, and even beyond in my past, everything has an impact string and a capital string attached to it. But it's never too far away from tech, startups, innovation. Because at the NDIA and a great fund that's come out of that is called Remarkable, is a disability tech accelerator, investor, venture fund, etc. It was all kind of intertwined. But I looked at this long list of things and I was like, I was doing these things, but I wasn't doing the one thing I love doing most, which is helping other people. And that's really what my background is ingrained in. When I was born in India, raised in South Africa, I'm now based here. And when I looked at that long list, I was like, hey, I can do a few things. I can get capital to where it needs to get to. I want to help people who otherwise get overlooked to support them to get the capital they need and the advice they need to build those businesses. And I also need to make sure that I find a way to make my own enterprise come to life by learning. And so venture seemed like the right place. Same thing applied everywhere. Everyone said, excuse the French, fuck off. I'm like, look at the fucking CV. What do you need? What are you looking for?
That should be the tagline for Australian venture firms. Fuck off.
Well, yes. I mean, I published a few things.
That's a controversial statement we both just said. You know?
Yeah. Well,
that's all right.
I'm sure that they understand.
No, this is the problem. They don't.
But no, I think the challenge with Australian VC, if we want to open Pandora's box,
risk and reverse,
is Australia is good at making oligopolies. We have 4 big grocers, 3 big banks, etc., etc. We have 3 big VCs. We have a few smaller ones, but we have 3 big VCs. That's not how VC works.
No.
You go anywhere else in the world, whether it's Southeast Asia, South Asia, Europe, the States, regardless of the orangutan office. That's not how VC works. And Australia has never had a lack of capital. What we have had is a lack of risk-tolerant capital. And the capital that does go there goes in bubbles. Now, they're, friend of friends funds. There are friends of this person's fund. I went to Sydney Boys Private. I went to Melbourne
It's a
Grammar.
friend culture now. I mean, I found that coming from London.
And I mean, you come from a world that isn't like that, so you can recognize.
No one's got any friends in London. No one.
And I mean, whilst it's still an incredible ecosystem to build in, we have some of the world's most incredible innovations in Atlassian, in Canva, in Robin Denholm on the Tech Council of Australia. Like, there is no shortage of talent and innovation. It's a shortage of the ability to allocate capital to where it needs to get to. And me having come from an investment banking background, I've seen what that looks like on a global scale. I've closed over $500 million in structured and leveraged finance with Investec, setting up India's renewable energy infrastructure across India, acquisitions with Blackstone, TPG, Adia, GIC Singapore. Like, I know how this works on a global scale. Australia likes being Australia. However, there are a few that go and make it global. Melanie from Canva, Scott and Mike from Atlassian, the safety culture guys. But I think something happened after them.
Well, everyone stopped. And they're just waiting for them to liquidate. And then everyone's just going to go home.
Exactly. And it's like, it's very interesting that
there's been a few.
Everyone knows these things, but we're still like, hush, 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 hush. And I'm like, hush, hush isn't going to fund the amazing companies and the amazing founders who are building great things. But sorry, coming back to where we were, we digress. That's why I ended up in venture. And KPMG High Growth Ventures seemed like the perfect place. By the way, I was also rejected from that gig because of a system glitch. I then harassed the team for 3 months, after which I was very gratefully offered a position to work with them.
We've done a lot of stuff with them. I like them.
They're amazing.
Yeah.
Amanda is one of the most incredible leaders that I've ever worked with. I've learned so much about leadership, about sales, about how to do things, especially in Australia. And the entire team is people who get venture, people who get startups, people who get we're all ex-founders, current founders, operators. And because of that, we can connect the dots and get people into the right places. And so they were looking to expand the businesses in Melbourne, and I was like, cool, I'm in Melbourne. So I was and part of the ecosystem for a while, knew almost every VC, every family office who I work with, I advise, I support in any way I can. And that's how I kind of did that for the last couple of years. And I also sit on the board of the Iceberg Foundation, which is a mental health care charity to support LGBTQIA plus folks, migrants, refugees, displaced individuals with access to mental health care support. And the reason why I did all these things is A, YOLO, but B, you gotta like expand yourself to understand as much as you can. There's obviously, you get specialists, which is where the world used to be. I think Sam Altman recently said, he was like, really good leaders or CEOs are extremely good generalists. They know a lot, they know a little about a lot of things. Mm-hmm. And then whatever they don't know, they have enough people to go ask those questions about. And from what I'm trying to build with Inam and where we were, where we're at, and where we're going, that becomes far more important.
Well, let's talk about that. Where are you at and where are you going?
Yeah, I guess maybe good point.
Describe the business first. Let's frame it up.
Correct. Good place to start is why we even exist, right?
Yep.
So deep lived experience. My father was one of South Africa's leading entrepreneurs in pharmaceuticals, did really well for himself, built an entire industry from the ground up in Ayurveda and nutraceuticals post-apartheid. Now, whilst he was great at business, sadly not the best at managing his own personal finances, got taken advantage of whilst trying to invest and make a difference, lost his entire life savings in the hundreds of millions, and 5 years later, lost his life.
Goodness.
So not knowing how and where to invest cost us everything. As a young person, I had to take care of mum, find myself in the same position. I was like, I cannot let any other family go through this ever again. And that's why I created Inam to help young people that don't know how and where to invest to do so with an impact. And we do that by embedding investment literacy throughout the process, which allows us in turn to curate custom micro portfolios from around the world for just $10 a month. You can then track your impact dollar for dollar. So trees planted, animals saved, renewable gigawatts of energy generated, carbon emissions prevented as a direct result of your investment in these companies.
Can I ask you a quick question?
Yeah,
I know you're right in mid-flow.
No, so fine.
I love that you do that. Do you feel that that is a form, and I'm not trying to undermine the importance of what that is, because that's real factual stuff that you're reporting there, but it feels like you've kind of gamified it to some degree. And I think that's what people love. They're not actually going to go and see those trees, but the fact that they can see the trees and how many, there's a kind of little mini gamification to 100%. It. Is that what you were thinking with it?
The reason why we had to go down this route is impact investing is not a new concept.
No.
High net worth individuals, family offices have been investing in it for the last 2 decades and minting returns. Retail investors like you and I are shipped off ETFs. The S&P 500, the Vanguard they're all great.
It's always Vanguard. It's always Vanguard.
It depends on, the investments you make are your choice. However, impact and purpose, people have always assumed don't go hand in hand. One comes at the discount of another, or one comes at the premium of another. We're debunking that myth. Our back test on our portfolio for the last 3 years was 19% per annum.
Wow.
For context, obviously past returns are not indicative or guaranteed of future returns. We have a full
I feel like someone's doing an advert.
I'll give you the disclaimer that you need to put on top of this. And we just did a recent 10-year back test. That came in at 365%.
That's insane.
The S&P was at 200, right? So impact is not something that is independent of profit.
No.
Purpose is not independent of profit. And that's what we're really trying to show. But the problem and humans, and the interesting thing about humans is we won't believe what we don't see. And even in today's day and age, you can't be what you can't see. And so whilst this impact is reported on in scope 1, 2, 3 emissions, or people say we're green, there's a lot of greenwashing and impact washing. We were like, we need to be objective. We are not subjective. We're not going to put coatings on things. They are what they are. Tesla's not in our portfolio. Apple's not in our portfolio. Visa is not in our portfolio. Those are the top 3 holdings of every major ESG fund on the planet. And the reason why we had to gamify it is we had to show people, like, look, your money is doing great, but we know as at a human level, people want to do good with their money. They want to give their money a mission.
But they don't believe they can do as well by doing good, right?
And
that's
so,
a cultural thing.
Correct. And so if we can show it to them, we start that cultural shift.
Yeah.
And my current team, I'm really lucky to work with them and have them, a CMO of mine who's had a history in media, who's building that brand platform of money with a mission, because we're trying to ingrain finance with culture. Finance has historically been this boring thing, with all due respect, run by middle-aged white men in suits on Collins Street in Melbourne who jargonize everything.
Mm-hmm.
They are long words for everything, but they mean this. It's money going from one place to another place. It just is defined differently. It's defined as this is a warrant, this is a bond, this is an equity sale, this is a cash transfer, this is an electronic funds transfer. They all mean the same thing. Money going from one place to another, just differently.
Yep.
And that jargonization of finance is what's created this barrier for everyone else to access it, to understand it, to build wealth with it. And that's why we need to ingrain it within culture, which is what Inam is doing. And so gamifying it is how we ensure the next generation of wealth builders build it by engaging with it.
Yeah, okay.
They need to engage with everything they're doing. And hence we built it the way we did, so that we can, the data exists. The data is always, it's listed equities. This data is mandatorily and regulatorily required to be reported. And so we've gone in and found that data, scraped it off, attributed it to the fund, and then attributed it down to every unit holder in our fund. But that takes time.
How long has it been going now?
The fund, so we just got approval from ASIC a couple of weeks ago. The apps have just been pushed to the Apple App Store and Google Play Store. By the time this comes out, they'll be well and truly live.
Let's spell it for everyone so that they can find it on there.
So it's www.
World Wide Web? Don't say that anymore. No one says World Wide Web anymore.
The World Wide Web. Netscape. www.inam, that's INAAM.me. So inam.me. You can go on the website, sign up to our newsletter. Our links to the app stores are there as well. If you fancy just going onto the app store, go into the iOS Apple App Store, type Inam Money with a Mission. Go on the Google Play Store, Inam Money with a Mission. It'll be the first thing that pops up.
Perfect.
Download it. And the reason why we did what we're doing, we embedded that investment literacy, is the brain's cognitive function is at its peak when it learns by doing. And so that's also the problem with education systems. You learn independently and you execute independently. In Australia, we've had a slew of consumer fintechs where they either only purely focus on execution, such as Spaceship, which recently got acquired by eToro, or just education, such as Flux, which just got acquired by NetWealth. That white space, and we acquired the only other kind of impact player in the place, which is Bloom Impact. That white space is where people haven't played before, which is combining education and execution together. That's our key insight of what we're building here. And the vision is to become the impact engine of the future, where we redirect every dollar of capital across the capital spectrum into impact. So we're starting off with listed assets, moving on to debt markets, so green bonds and blue bonds, impact in the workplace, where your employer can allow you to opt in as an employee for a portion of your salary to directly go into an Inam impact portfolio, and impact in private markets. But none of that matters if we don't put our money where our mouth is. So we'll be reinvesting a significant portion of our own profits back into the impact ecosystem to support women of color, people of color, young people from underrepresented backgrounds with access to capital to build the businesses of the future, thereby creating a circular financial economy. And going back to what we were talking about earlier, that's how you get capital from where it sits today to where it actually needs to go to. However, it takes a long time. Building the fund, finding the right providers, vendors, building the app, getting the legals in place. It's not a walk in the park. I asked the question of how hard can it possibly be? That's what every founder does. You very quickly get humbled. But because of our deep-rooted why, there have been 3 times where we should have, could have, probably must have shut down, but we didn't because of that why. We've had a co-founder separation that everything was black and white, but these things take a toll.
You do.
Didn't work out. Had a distribution partnership, a major distribution partnership fell through, didn't work out. Sometimes these things don't work out. Had a vendor that got nasty, got ugly. We lost money, and that vendor has since affected a lot of other companies. We actually acquired one of the companies that they affected, and these things happen. But what it does is it it derails innovation. And as a migrant in a new country, I've been told to my face, you're not from here. What do you know about this market?
Have you really?
I have, by VCs.
By VCs? No wonder you had a little dig against them.
And
I'm surprised that I mean, that's very easy for me to say, obviously with my upbringing and background, but I'm still surprised that in Australia you were told that to your face by a VC.
So I grew up in South Africa, right? We know what racism is.
You certainly do.
I think we wrote the playbook on racism.
No, I don't know. I think actually the British did it way before anyone else.
Yeah,
but
correct. Post-apartheid, like I went to school, everyone came from every background, every gender, every ethnicity, every religion. I went to school with people who are of African descent, people who are Anglo, people who are Indian, people who are Asian, people who are colored. In South Africa, we refer to a different kind. There's a different ethnicity there as well. We all bleed the same color blood. Mm-hmm. It's red.
It is.
We don't differentiate. There's no, classism of that kind. And then I came to Melbourne. I was called an Indian dog walking down the street 3 times.
Jesus.
I've been assaulted on a tram.
For no reason.
Just like I was called, we can obviously edit this out. I was sharing with you. I was called a fuckwit 3 times by an elderly gentleman who just pushed me out the way. It's like, get out the way, you fuckwit. I'm like, sir.
There does seem to be a lot of racism on trams.
I was like, sir, you could have asked me to move nicely. I'd have moved. And he was like, you fucking fuckwit, get out of my way. I'm like, sir.
Tell me, how do you feel now having arrived, and struggled for even getting into uni, right? All the way through to, you've done a TEDx speech, as we spoke about, off camera, which we don't need to go into detail because you said it's really boring, but not that I believe that. But, which is the epitome for some people of what they want to achieve. You've started your own businesses. You've worked for KPMG High Growth Ventures. You've raised $500 million. You've done some incredible things. And now you're not just educating people who are uneducated about how to protect their wealth based off a personal scenario, but you're also impacting the entire world by doing it. When you describe it like that, that's an insane story. Often you can describe someone's stories in an insane way, but they don't necessarily feel that, which is why I ask you that question, and I'm sure, you're young. You've got a hell of a lot more you're going to do. I have absolutely no doubt. But right now, how do you feel?
I don't feel like I've done anything yet.
That's what people say. Isn't that ridiculous? Because I've just spent over a minute describing what you have done, and I didn't even include half the things that we talked about already.
Because I think I'm driven so much by being able to see the outcomes I know this work could possibly drive and lead, that I cannot rest until I see it. And all these, please don't get me wrong, I am so grateful to have been able to do the things I've done and so lucky to be able to say the things I can say. I'm very cognizant of the fact that a lot of people aspire to those things, but at the end of the day, it's the work that matters.
It is.
To me. Like, yes, there's the TED Talk on how money can be a force for good. I'm on the 101 South Asian Australian founders list, which is great, amazing to be on.
Why do you think they do 101?
So in Hinduism, in South Asian culture in general, 100 is a good number, but we have a 101, which is a symbolic token of luck. So similar to Chinese New Year when you get a red envelope, whenever you visit a family in India on an auspicious occasion or a religious event or a auspicious day, you give them a token, which is usually, it's never the full amount because an even number can be divided. An odd number can't. So when you give it to someone, you're giving it with the intention for them to keep it. And so they can't really split it in half.
I love that.
So it's like a token or a tokenized notion of this is for you. So anytime you give someone something, you'll never give them 10 rupees or $10. You'll give them 11 or 21 or
I will remember
51
this.
or
I will remember this for sure.
Yeah. And so when the Sari Collective decided to make this list, they were like, in order to stay true to culture, we'll make 101. And so it's 101.
There you go.
But the one thing I will bring up, because I think it's important and I don't think I'm the only migrant that struggles with this, is you read out the list of things. Would you believe it if I told you that I still don't qualify for a national innovation or a global talent visa?
Knowing the visa system, having worked in recruitment for 20 years here, absolutely I would believe that. That doesn't shock me at all. It's ridiculous. Don't get me wrong. I definitely don't agree with it, but it doesn't surprise me.
It's like the whole challenge is it's just a narrative because it's presented as this startup visa or this innovation visa. Recently, they made it even hard. You have to be a Pulitzer Prize nominee or winner or a Nobel Peace Prize winner. There is literally 1 or 2 of them every year out of the population size of 8 billion.
And they're not running startups.
And then the other clauses, they've revamped them, but initially were 300K minimum invested from a VC. There are no VCs writing pre-seed or seed checks at that amount for direct-to-consumer fintech.
Oh, definitely not direct-to-consumer, no.
And when they wrote the ESVCLP regulations, there are 2 industries those funds can't invest in, pure-play fintech and PropTech.
So this is literally designed for you not to get it.
Well, I did choose the hardest industry to do anything in other than medtech. And I think all these rules are great, but they're really geared towards people who are C-suite or high-paying staff members.
Isn't innovation
of a large corporation
about not having rules? Isn't that literally one of the definitive ways of describing it?
You tell them.
I don't think they'll listen to me. We can try, maybe.
Yeah. But yeah, and hence, I guess part of the systems that when you ask the question of how do I feel, it's clear the system itself is telling me it's not good enough. Right.
But hopefully, in fact, not hopefully, I know you're smart enough not to believe the system. So there's no hopefully about it.
Well, I make my day job is making people upset because of how things work. So that's why I'm breaking that.
I love that description. What's the easiest thing? You know, you had a lot of struggles, right? I'm hoping there are some things that have come easier potentially being in Australia. Or it doesn't have to be Australia, it could be anywhere that you perhaps thought were going to be a lot more challenging.
100%. So I genuinely thought the regulatory piece, Australia has the most onerous financial regulations in the world, which is one of the reasons why I'm here. So that we can leverage regulatory arbitrage and scale and grow in every country in the world. I've been invited to speak in Davos alongside the World Economic Forum. We won an award from the Swiss Fintech Association, delegations to Bangkok and Thailand for Money 2020, India and Amsterdam in the Netherlands. All those regulators prescribe in general to the notion of if your regulation compliance is at a standard more onerous than ours, we deem you compliant here. And so our ability to launch here, iterate, and then go that's why I'm here. I thought that would be the hardest. I had to sign a piece of paper.
That was it?
Well, obviously there was due diligence involved and all that, but all my ducks were mostly in a row.
Yeah.
It was agreeing to accept terms of taking on, being a corporate authorized representative of a full AFSL. At the end of the day, once you'd read it, come through something, it was signing a piece of paper. I'd have anticipated it being far more difficult.
It sounds like it would be.
I don't take signing that piece of paper lightly. There's a 100-page document worth of compliance behind that piece of paper, which we comply to, which are above board on in every instance and always will be, because this is people's money we're dealing with. But that was what I thought would be most difficult. But it wasn't. I thought I can understand and manage people professionally. That was the biggest challenge. And I'm sure you've heard this time and time again. People, whether it be on the team, whether it be vendors, whether it be investors, whether it be partners, that's been a huge growth curve.
It's a drain.
Yeah. I mean, I'm really grateful to be backed by an amazing board. One specific member on the board, their entire role is making sure I stay sane, which is how I manage, my relationships, my people and leadership, etc. And this specific gentleman is responsible for standing up some of the world's largest companies. Revolut, Monzo, Adyen, startup bootcamps, Fintech. And so he knows.
He knows what he's talking about.
He knows what he's talking about. And I did, and I'm glad that the board said, because they alerted me of this. Like, the money is hard, fine, that's hard everywhere. The regulation we comply with. And I think people are always the hardest to deal with, and the right people. To find the right people, which I'm lucky to have now. I'm very grateful. I know they'll be listening to this. Please know I'm very lucky for all of you.
I knew you'd do a direct camera piece. I just knew it.
And finding the right people to work with them.
So I can tell you some, obviously I've been in recruitment for most of my career. So, and then I've gone into media and then I've gone into private members clubs. So everything I do is people, which is just a punish in some respects, when you can deal with robots. But I think the thing that I love in life is people. I think the thing that probably changed my view on people, and everyone describes managing people as a drain on your energy, right? Is how it's like anything. And I imagine you would have had to do this so many times in your life, particularly in what you've told me so far. You have something in front of you that is a problem of some form, and that could be an individual, right? It literally just puts down to how you frame it. Like if 100%. You frame it as a drain, or if you frame it as an opportunity to exchange energy in a different way, everything just changes. And I think but people find that harder to do with people because there's so much emotion.
I think, this is something I actually learned from Amanda Price, my ex-boss. She was like, I have a job. My job is to make sure this thing runs.
Yep.
And if I have a conversation with you, it is about me needing to do my job. And so when you frame it that way, and I kind of try to apply this with my team in as many aspects as I can, the conversation is about the job needing to get done. And the challenge then is every person receives that information differently. So framing that same thing for an alpha leader, you need to say that, but you need to say it a bit differently. For a leader who's a bit more empathetic, you need to say that with a little bit softer language and tone. And for someone who's maybe just reporting to you or more junior, you've got to play the delicate lines of, I have to be assertive as fuck because you need to do the thing that you need to do. But I also need to be empathetic in that I understand you've never done this before and you're building the skill set. And we're giving you the skills together, but you gotta meet me halfway. Like, what's going on here? And framing it to ask people about how they're feeling, I've found helps to then unpack, iterate, acknowledge, and grow. But that takes, I now realize I've said this and it's now normal and I'm growing and building on it, but not a lot of people know that.
I'm going to share something with you that I watched last night on YouTube. I don't even know how I stumbled across this video, but I did. It was, when you, yesterday I worked from home because I needed to get through so much. And I had one of those days where I powered through stuff. And as you do that, you slowly decrease the amount of tabs across the top of your browser, right? And the ones that were that small that you don't even know were there suddenly appear. And one of them was a YouTube one. I thought, I wonder what that is. So I opened it up, and this was about 8:30 last night. And it was 6 minutes. And I thought, well, that's good because they often say 1.5 hours. And I think, well, I'm not watching that. And I just shut it. But it was 6 minutes. So I thought, I'm going to watch it. And I forget the name of the gentleman, but he was talking about his communication triangle and how certain aspects of communication lead to the next one, which will ultimately lead you to work effectively as a team and get the result that you want. And I'm going to try and remember it because I only watched it once. But the bottom one was trust, in that people need to trust each other. And that's not so much trust each other in terms of, I trust you to, not hurt me. It's trust each other in that you trust each other to talk honestly to each other.
Yes.
The next one was conflict, which was if you trust each other, then you can have conflict in a positive manner. If you don't trust each other, then you have conflict in a negative manner where it could be positioning or politics. But if it's not, it's to get to a result.
Exactly.
Oh gosh, I'm forgetting now. The conflict then led you to sort of this level of everybody having an opportunity to listening and hearing. Right. And then if everybody gets an opportunity to put their opinion forward, you then go forward with commitment, which is you commit to something. Now, even if you don't agree with what you commit to, you'll commit to it if you've been heard. Yes. That's all people want. And then that leads to the result, which I found was fascinating. I can't even remember that. I think that was right. Someone somewhere who created that video is looking at me going, no.
That's not what I meant.
Yeah, you got it wrong. You got the wrong. It wasn't commitment. It wasn't this anyway. But I think you get the idea. And to me, I was watching this and because I'd had a day at home, I had about 280 emails in my to-do list that I'd got through. It just really hit home with me how ineffective email is as a form of communication for exactly the reasons you've just said. The way that someone communicates, whether it be with less aggression or more empathy or whatever it is, none of that gets put across in email very effectively. You can try, but ultimately
GPT can try.
Yeah, but even so, the mood you're in when you read it to the mood someone in when they write it, we've seen this with text messages as well. And yet the world has driven themselves towards communicating over text, WhatsApp, Slack, email. And this is, I think, a huge issue in the way that the whole world is going. And no one calls anyone anymore. People go, oh, you use your phone to call people.
Yeah, people get frightened. I have friends.
Do you think they get frightened
that
by
if I'm phoning them, they'll be like, oh my God, what's wrong?
What's happened?
I'm like, I'm just calling to say hi.
Isn't it
it's not
funny?
that deep.
Isn't that funny? Maybe we need to create something to help this. Maybe that's some impact investing. We can think about how we can have impact on stopping
100%.
everyone just doing written communication.
And I think like none of my conversations are ever written with people. Like if there's outcomes that need to be communicated post, yes.
Do you have children yet?
No.
So you have teenagers. You can't talk to them. You can only text them. And even then, you don't really understand what the reply is because it's a bunch of letters that mean something.
Do you text them with Riz?
No. I do not.
Do you send emojis?
I do send emojis,
Do you send
Why would you ask that? I've never admitted that before.
Do you send genmojis?
No, I do send gifts sometimes. This is not what a 50-year-old man should be admitting on a public forum.
You don't look a day over 25.
I'm 52. I'm 52 in 3 weeks.
Well, happy birthday. But you don't look a day over 25.
Maybe that's why Mike can still emoji. But thank you. But I'm amazed that you don't do any written communication because some people won't answer the phone, right? They just don't answer.
And so like the team, and this is something that kind of our CMO led, was every Friday we have to meet in person. It's just until we have an office and we can pay everyone and we do all those things, we actively, deliberately find times to be physically in the same space with each other because that makes such a big difference. And that's also taught me a lot around like, how do I want to build a culture? What kind of things do we need to build? We're a financial services company, a fintech, and an ed tech all in one. We're at the precipice of
what do you call that? We have to work out. We'll work that out later because that could take a while. I don't know. A fintech, an ed tech, and a what?
And a financial services company.
Are you a climate tech as well because you're impact investing?
Well, yeah.
Maybe.
Whenever the one challenge I've had with some impact investment funds and investors is they choose a lane.
Yep.
We do climate. We do health. We do education. I'm like, I make sure all of those things get funded. It does that not make...
Maybe we just call you a tech company.
Yeah. I think we're a tech conglomerate.
Tech conglomerate. Don't hear that word very often, conglomerate.
Yeah. It's too big. That's why. No one should be using it.
But does it have to be? Because conglomerate doesn't mean big. It just means a variety of different things, right? So you don't have to be big. Exactly. It's just traditionally they are.
Yeah. They're a fintech conglomerate.
And you should need to put AI on the end. Just simple. Otherwise you won't get any funding.
Conglomerate.
See, now you say you're an AI conglomerate and we put this show out, you'll have 50 people wanting to fund you tomorrow.
I'll have A16Z on my door tomorrow morning. I'll be like, you guys didn't think of this, did you? You built the internet, but you never thought of an AI conglomerate.
No one thought of that. That's a genius. Right, talk to me. Yes. Where from here? Like like we talked about, you've achieved a lot. You've got this business up and running.
Yep.
You've proven the concept. You're getting towards getting an office. You're here. You look cold.
The cold wasn't made for my people, man.
Me neither, and I'm English, so that doesn't make any sense. But what's next for you?
Yes, this is my life's work. Our public launch is tomorrow in Melbourne. We'll be doing other activations.
So what's next is you're flying back to Melbourne.
What's next? We'll have the event tonight.
That's exciting.
Which is embargoed, but is not when this comes out. So the 101 South Asian Australian list has a gala. I've made the list again.
Amazing.
So celebrating
is that in Sydney?
It's in Sydney.
Fantastic. Where is it?
It is. I will check my calendar. I have no idea. And go back tomorrow. Do the launch. The apps hit the stores. The fund is live. We get our first few customers. What's next for me is we hit our 1,200-ish customer target.
Mm-hmm.
We'll probably be the only D2C fintech in Australia that has broken even within 3 months. I then go raise some big bucks, bring the team on board full time, launch a couple more product features that are on the product roadmap, which our customers have told us they want, and launch in our first global market.
Well, by the time this comes out, you'll be live. So for anyone watching who wants to invest in the fund, they just basically download the app, as we talked about earlier, and just go in. Do you have like a minimum investment? Do you have fractional stuff? Do you have all of those kinds of features? Yep.
So we've explained all of that throughout the app. We encourage about $100 a month.
Mm-hmm.
If you can't do that much, we recommend you to consider your situation before you invest in the fund.
And is there an easy exit? So is it like
Yes.
like a bamboo or a raise where you can put money in, but you can also pull it out
Correct.
again?
So we don't withhold your money. We don't forcefully lock it in. It's your money. You should
I'm
have
excited by
access
this.
to it when you want it. You just let us know if you want it back. We need to do a few things because we've gone
3 to 5 days. It's always 3 to 5 days, right? It's about the same amount of time it takes to get a new card in the
Eventually,
post.
with the tech, we should be able to do it sooner. But for now, it'll take the time.
3 to 5 days. It's always 5.
The reason is I'm working with archaic foundations that have already been laid to build a fund for a new age. These funds have been set up to take money from sophisticated investors and family offices who will write a PDF form and physically fax their identity documents through and initiate a bank transfer.
Do we need to explain what a fax is, do you think, to some of the audience?
But I don't want to.
Let's not do that. I don't want to either. I don't want to either.
But yeah, I think we explain it. It's $100 a month. We only charge $10. We don't charge any FX,
regardless of balance,
commission, regardless of balance.
And do you have a dividend reinvesting and all that kind of stuff?
We take care of your tax situation. You get a reporting every month. That's great. All the heavy lifting we do. And we tell you about that so you understand what it is and you don't just receive paperwork and don't know what it means. Within the app, you learn about every company you're invested in, what the performance looks like, what the performance metrics actually mean. Our impact methodology is public because we trust what we're doing. We know no one's going to be able to pull off what we've done in the way we've done it. And even if they do, kudos.
Yep.
Please do. That we need as much money going to the right places as needed. We have access to about 500,000 young Australians through our unique distribution and partnership strategy where we sought to become a habit before people start building their wealth in postgraduate student clubs and affiliations. And we'll be going hard and just ingraining finance in culture. We don't want finance to feel like this arbitrary, complicated, taboo topic that you can't talk about. If we're going to change how the world sees money, interacts with money and builds their wealth and actually capture that next gen wealth transfer, it's got to be part of culture. It's got to be part of how we deal with our lives day to day. And so, the no minimum, 100 is what I need to say because that's on our PDS. $10 a month, you can take it out if and when you need to. We encourage you to stay invested for 3 to 5 years to really see the benefits of your investments. And you go on the app stores, go on our website, go on our socials, our content. We're also a content company because we need to push out content to make people feel relatable to what we're doing. And you can engage with all that and actually learn about money, build your wealth, and make your money have a mission to save the world.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Arjun, it has been a pleasure.
Thank you so much for having me.
I've really enjoyed having you. I think what you're doing is great.
Thank you.
I hope tonight goes well. I'm sure it will. I hope tomorrow goes well. I'm sure it will.
Thank you.
And I hope your first 3 months goes well. I'm sure it will. And we will have you back on in a year or so and see how it's going.
Yes, when I hit $1 billion value.
Absolutely.
I have a secret group chat on WhatsApp, which is called Victoria's 21st Unicorn. It hasn't happened in the last 3 years, so maybe we might be it.
Are you the only one on the secret chat?
And a few other people from the team.
Okay.
But we haven't activated it in a while.
I like it. All right.
Yeah.
Well, pleasure. And I look forward to watching it grow.
Thank you so much.
Thanks.
Cool.